Welcome to the Meet the Coach series in honour of Executive Coach Day. I'm here with Binta. How are you, Binta?
Oh, I'm really, really great and happy to be here with you.
Lovely, lovely. I'm really happy to see you. I'm going to get straight into the questions. And the first one is, who do you love to coach? Who's your ideal client?
Yeah, my ideal client is someone that's at a stage in their career that wants to bring around change, but they don't want to just work towards their goal. They want to work more holistically, understanding themselves so that they can really bringing in lots of different elements of themselves. I work a lot with IFS, internal family systems, and there's this piece around the secure adult. And I really love to help people find that secure adult. So really long term, that they don't need me. That there isn't a dependency on me working with me to help them get the answer. So when they feel that sense of security, that they can really go off in the world and achieve whatever they need to and want to.
Fantastic. I love that. And with that in mind, in this journey to being the secure adult, have there been particular outcomes that you've been really pleased for with your clients?
Yeah, one client sticks out in particular. She came to me really at the start of her career, and there was a lot of conflict in her workplace, in the current workplace and in the previous one. And she was quite heavily armored up. And, I said to her in the first session, okay, we're going to challenge some of the way that you look at yourself. And she didn't quite believe it. And the setup of the sessions also had her kind of suspicious, but actually I was really able to build rapport with her very quickly. And she really allowed me to really challenge a lot of her thinking. And as you know, Jenny, coaching is a conversation that's radical in challenge, compassion, and candor. And not everyone can receive that, but actually, because of the relationship we had, she was really able to look at herself and fundamentally change how she viewed herself. Now, the end of the story isn't sunny because the conflict that she had in the organization led to her being dismissed. But actually, what I really admired about her was that she was making the headways and she was changing and ready to have those conversations. And actually, while she left the organization, she has a different relationship with herself fundamentally. And I think that is invaluable, particularly at this stage in her career as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing the ups and downs of a coaching journey, because when you're changing, there are absolutely ups and downs. It's not a linear journey. Yeah. So thank you. So you are a member of the Diverse Executive Coach Directory. And so I take it you believe that diversity in coaching is important. And if that is the case, why do you think it's important?
Yeah, I'm going to keep this succinct because I feel as if I could say a lot on this topic. But I was recently in a training course in the Netherlands, and I remember speaking out in the sharing circle about something that was really difficult for me. And it was quite difficult, but the only other person of color heard me and was able to also share and she spoke to me afterwards and she said, it's really important for me to see somebody that looks like me because it allows me to have a sense of safety. And actually, I'm feeling quite emotional about that now. But yeah, it allowed her to have a sense of safety and to have someone to relate to. And when she saw me speaking up, she realized that she wasn't alone and she wasn't isolated. And I think that's really, really, you can't be what you can't see sometimes. And also I had an Arabic female client, and one day I shared an insight about my own life, and it really made a big impact on her that me as a person that she could relate to really saw myself in a particular way, that it actually really empowered her to stand more in her sovereignty. And I think that's why it's really important to have diversity in any society, but also when you're working with people, to have people that you can relate to, and that in many forms.
Thank you so much for sharing that. All so important to be able to open up, and also that idea of the coach's self-disclosure in service of supporting our clients as well. Yeah. Yes, I could talk to you all day, Binta, but I have one final question for you, and that is, what book would you recommend for a leader? What's the one book? And I know there are probably many you would recommend for a leader.
There are, but the one that I work a lot with, and that seems to have the biggest impact with all of my clients, including leaders, but even people at the start of their career, is Positive Intelligence by Shiraz Shemaine, which you probably know.
Yes. Yeah.
And it talks about the voices in our head, the saboteur voice and the voice of our sage, and also around how to change the brain chemistry of the brain, how to change the chemistry of the brain through mind exercises, PQ reps, positive intelligent reps. And, you know, we focus a lot on exercise in our bodies, but we don't focus a lot on exercise in our minds. And it's really important to manage the mind, because we know a lot of our unhappiness and a lot of us not achieving what we want and keeping us in negative patterns starts at the mind. So if we can train the mind and begin to hear the different voices in our heads, that can be really powerful, and particularly for a leader. So if a leader has an awareness of this framework, they can know whether they're talking to one of their team's support saboteurs or sages, and how to work with that so that their saboteur isn't talking to their team saboteur, and how they can get into more of an empowered conversation.
Fabulous. A really great recommendation. I've read it, I've done the course, and I highly recommend it also. Thank you so much, Binta.
My pleasure.